What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. What up? What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the hate. I appreciate all the curses, because best believe I'm always going to have something to say, whether you like it or not. I appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and make sure you continue to share the content. Make sure that notification bell is hit and in full effect, man. I couldn't be more grateful to be here in the presence of you beautiful people on this beautiful morning, this beautiful Friday morning. And if you guys are tuned into this live stream after the fact, maybe you're not watching it on Friday, maybe you're not watching it in the morning, best believe I see you. I appreciate you. I hear you. And make sure you guys hit that like button, and make sure you guys continue to comment and stay engaged and hit me up in that comment section, as long as you guys keep things respectful. And it seems like some of you guys have a unique way or a funny way about sharing your opinion. Instead of saying you disagree, you find a funny way to use your words. And I got to check some of y'all about that. And before we get into the content, I kind of want to set the record straight a little bit. I want to set the record straight just for a second, just if you allow me. Just give me a few minutes to clear the air, because you know, over the past couple days, I've noticed a shift, or I've noticed some people having a lot to say regarding my assessment of the Jordan Davis situation. And I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I'm not going to draw this out too long, because I have other things that I want to get to with you guys. You know, today, rookie minicamp has started. That's going to be going on between today and tomorrow. A lot of the vets, a lot of the guys have already been in the building, like A.J. Dillon, Jalen Hurts, so on and so forth, right? Saquon Barkley, I believe he's been in the building. A lot of the rookies got paid, or a lot of the rookies signed their contracts. So we have some things to talk about. But before we do so, before we get to the nitty-gritty of today's show, I want to address some of y'all, because I think y'all got my perspective a little screwed up as it pertains to Jordan Davis and how I see him. And I feel like sometimes people just choose to hear what they want to hear. And I understand the majority of you guys understand where I'm coming from when it comes to Jordan Davis. I understand most of you guys understand where I'm coming from. I want to make that very clear. I notice the smart fans, but sometimes the dumb ones stand out. I know y'all know what I mean by that. Sometimes the dumb ones just stand out. But I've been in communication with a couple fans as it pertains to Jordan Davis, Keely Ringo, Nakobe Dean, and there's this narrative out there floating that I don't like those players. There's a narrative out there that I don't like those players, that I'm wishing for their downfall, that I'm not being positive about their situations, that I don't want the best for them. And the reality is, I want the best for all these guys. I want all these guys to get as much money as they can. I want these guys to be as healthy as they can be. I want that for them. Now, I don't know them personally. So I can't say but so much, but I wish for great health for them. I want them to get as much money as they can in this league that's very unforgiving. I want them to continue to develop as much as they can. But because they play for a team that I love so much, that I grew up rooting for, I feel a need to hold them accountable. I feel a need to hold them accountable because they play for a team that I love. They play for a team that I cover. Now, obviously, they have coaches in the building that's going to hold them accountable. They have an organization, executives. They have people in the building that's going to hold them accountable. But we know how Philly works, you guys. We know how it works. And I'm the furthest thing from some of those knuckleheads on WIP. The furthest thing. Although I acknowledge reality, I'm always wanting the best for the player. So let's just take it step by step. Jordan Davis. He's somebody that I've made it very clear. I was one of the early people to understand his value, to understand what he does, to understand how important he is to this team, what he does for this team. I was one of the early ones. There was people who gave up on Jordan Davis. There was people who said, nah, Jordan Davis is a bust. There was people that called him fat, lazy. Not me. I said Jordan Davis has the tools. He's got to get in the lab. He got to get that conditioning up. I was one of the people who said Jordan Davis got it in him. But I'm also one of the people that says, listen, just because they picked up the fifth-year option, that doesn't guarantee him a long-term contract. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's truth. That's not conjecture. That's not hearsay. Just because they picked up the fifth-year option doesn't guarantee him a long-term deal. All it does is guarantee him $18.2 million over the next 2 seasons. And also, by picking up the fifth-year option, it bought the Eagles more time to evaluate the player. I'm also on record saying that I didn't think they would pick it up. I wasn't the only person. But I'm going to stay on me because I'm not one of those people who like to divert attention. I want the smoke. I made it very clear that I didn't think they would pick it up for X, Y, and Z reason. You guys saw the shows. I made my reasons clear. Financial reasons. Maybe they feel they can get him for cheaper. Maybe they haven't been pleased with the development thus far. These are all things that I put together, things that I assumed, things that I did the science on, especially when you quantify or qualify his draft value, his draft stock. But they ultimately decided to pick it up. And I was happy for Jordan Davis. I was happy for him because at the end of the day, I like Jordan Davis. I like him a lot. I like what he does. I like the personality. I understand his value on first and second down, the early downs, first down, second and long, or second and short situations, goal line situations. I understand what he does. I understand what he does. But here's the cold truth. Here's the cold truth about Jordan Davis that some people don't want to hear because they think I don't like him, or you know what they say? They say I'm not being positive enough. I'm not being positive. I'm not kissing his ass. I'm not dick eating. I'm happy for him. I want him to get the money. I want him to be extended here. But there's variables that go into this thing. The Eagles can make him an offer. He can decline that offer. Or the Eagles can make him an offer, or he can accept that offer. But if he declines the offer, he may counter the offer. If the Eagles don't like the counter, they may counter. And if they can't come to an agreement, he may walk. That's a reality. That's a reality. What part of this business don't some of y'all understand? And it's not all of y'all. Most of my people understand the game. Most of my people understand the business. There is a reality because Jordan Davis is such a difficult player to evaluate right now. He's a difficult player to evaluate right now because of you see the upside and the athleticism and what he's able to do in the run game. He's an elite run stuffer. He's an elite run stuffer. Elite. But how much is that worth? How much is that worth to the Eagles? A guy being drafted in the first round, top 15. I believe he was drafted 13th overall. Who has had conditioning issues over the past couple seasons. Somebody who can't play. Somebody who can't play more than 50% of the snaps. Somebody who's only going to be a first and second down player for you, or a goal line player, or a short yardage player. Somebody who really can't rush the passer, or who hasn't shown that they can do that consistently. Let's put it that way, because I don't want to say what he can and can't do. Someone who hasn't shown he can consistently, or hasn't been able to consistently rush the passer. But he's an elite run defender. He keeps those linebackers clean. He takes on double teams and he creates he cleans up the A gap so Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun can fly through there. He has an important job on his team, especially in the Vic Fangio scheme, especially when you go multiple fronts, 5-man fronts, so on and so forth. But what premium do the Eagles put on that? What's the premium? What's the value? What's the value for that? You guys tell me. We've looked at D-tackle contracts. We know when it comes to the D-line, you want to get paid, you got to get to the quarterback. At least if you want to get paid the big bucks. If you want to get paid the big bucks, you got to get to the quarterback. That's not made up. So again, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's just the fact that all I'm trying to say is I believe in Jordan Davis. I believe he has all the tools to be the player that we think he can be. But I needed to be understood that although the Eagles picked up his fifth-year option and they see his value in Vic Fangio's defense, they see the value, or they recognize what he does. What's that worth? What's that worth? Because when you got when you got Jalen Carter's contract coming up, you're going to have to pay Quinyon and Coop at some point, right? You're paying Zach Baun big money right now. Nolan Smith's contract is going to come up soon. You got to pay Reed Blankenship if you decide to do that, right? Are you going to pay Tyler Steen at some point? All I'm trying to say to you guys, so many decisions have to be made, and one of those decisions are how much is Jordan Davis worth to the Eagles, but even more so, how much does Jordan Davis and his representation think he's worth? What's the dollar amount? What's the value Jordan Davis and his representation put on themselves? This isn't about me. This isn't about me being wrong about them picking up the fifth-year option. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I thought they wouldn't pick up the fifth-year option. They ended up picking up the option. Okay, what's the next step of the conversation? I could care less. I'm happy they picked it up. Just because I thought they wouldn't doesn't mean I'm not happy that the player got it. And I think and I think that's the crazy thing about it. Just because I predicted they wouldn't pick it up, that doesn't mean I'm not happy they picked it up. I never said, no, don't pick up that option. I never said, don't pick it up. I said, I think they won't. And here are the reasons why. Here are the reasons why. But they ultimately picked it up, and I'm happy about that. I feel like I'm generally positive and optimistic about this team. I feel like I'm generally positive. I'm generally supportive. I tend to see the silver lining. I think I'm pretty optimistic. And I'm going to get to the super chats. But you guys tell me. You guys tell me. I feel like I'm optimistic and pretty positive about this team. I acknowledge the business side of it, but I feel like I'm pretty reasonable. I feel like I don't jump out the window on nobody. I also have no problem acknowledging when my prediction didn't come to fruition. Like some of y'all think I'm low on Nakobe Dean right now, just because I put in my tag or I named my video, the Eagles are disappointed in Nakobe Dean's injury. But that's how you know comprehension is at an all-time low right now. I named one of my videos, the Eagles are disappointed in Nakobe Dean's injury, or the Eagles are disappointed Nakobe Dean got hurt. And somebody tried to flip that and say, hey, where's your source? How do you know the Eagles are disappointed in Nakobe Dean? I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I never said they were disappointed in Nakobe Dean. I said they were disappointed in the injury, meaning that they wish it didn't happen. I think all of us can say without a shadow of a doubt, we all were disappointed when Nakobe Dean got hurt. When Nakobe got hurt, we were disappointed. We were upset about that. None of us blamed him for it, but we were disappointed. We were like, damn, we about to start an all-time run. Nakobe Dean gets hurt in the wild card round. He was having a spectacular season. He had a breakout year 3. Everything Howie Roseman saw for him came to fruition. We were disappointed. So if we were disappointed Nakobe Dean got hurt, what makes you think the Eagles weren't? When players get hurt, it changes how you build your roster. It changes the decisions you have to make. It changes the decisions we have to make. The Eagles aren't mad at Nakobe. He can't control that. Nakobe had a hell of a season. They're not mad at Nakobe, but they're disappointed that the injury happened when it happened. Because now he's going to start the season behind the 8 ball. He may not be active until week 6, week 7 because of the pup list. I think we all can safely say with confidence that we were disappointed when Nakobe Dean got hurt. We were disappointed. And I think the Eagles were too. I don't need a source for that. That's common fucking sense. That's common sense. I don't need a source for that. I can safely assume that when Nakobe Dean got hurt, we all were disappointed. And I could also safely assume that we weren't mad at the player. We weren't disappointed in Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean was playing ball. Nakobe Dean was getting busy all season long. Why would we be disappointed in Nakobe Dean as a player? He was healthy all year. He was balling. He cemented himself as a starter, playing next to Zack Baun. But then he got hurt. And we were disappointed. Because we thought that we were on the start of a run. We were starting a run. When things don't okay, because Nigel B says maybe disappointed is the wrong word. I disagree with that, but it's not the wrong word, Nigel. It's a triggering word. It's a trigger word. I think that's what it is. I think it's a trigger word. I think it's a trigger word. I don't think it's the wrong word. It's a trigger word. I think, can we agree with that, Nigel? It's a word that gets the people going. It's a word that gets the people shook a little bit. What do you mean by that? If something doesn't go my way, damn, I'm disappointed. Damn. I thought it was going to go like this, but it didn't. But I want the best for Kobe D, man. I want him to get healthy. I want him to ball out. But guess what? Here's another reality. They drafted Jahai Campbell. They drafted Smile Mandan. That linebacker room is getting tough. That linebacker room is getting tough. Still got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the building. That linebacker room is getting tough. It's getting tough. And I think that's a cold reality. Nakobe Dean is entering the final year of his deal. The final year of his deal. The final year of his deal. This is the bad time for Nakobe Dean to get hurt. And that's not to say he wanted it to happen. It's just timing sucks. The timing sucked. He's entering the final year of his deal. It's the last thing he needed. And that's me speaking in favor of the player. Because I thought Nakobe Dean was going to get – I thought Nakobe Dean showed, hey, he's a starter. So, that's the Nakobe Dean part of it. I want Nakobe Dean to win. I want him to be healthy. But that linebacker room just got a little crowded. Jahai Campbell, Smile Mandan. Let's call it what it is. We listen. I can like Nakobe Dean as much as I want. You draft Jahai Campbell and Smile Mandan. Okay, yeah. The heat just got turned up a little bit. Alex says, I think Baun is gone after his contract is up. The team can try to keep Nakobe on a team-friendly 2-year deal. Well, here's the thing. His contract is up at the end of the season. So, if they give him a 2-year deal, that means that 2-year deal will end when Zack Baun's contract ends. And if Zack Baun is still playing at a high level, who knows, man? Who knows? But there is a strong chance, just based off how the Eagles do business, there's a strong chance Zack Baun is gone after his contract is up. And it's really a 2-year deal, for being honest, just based off the guarantees. It's really a 2-year deal. They gave Zack Baun a 3-year, $51 million deal with $34 million guaranteed. So the first 2 years are guaranteed. The last one isn't. So it's really a 2-year deal. But anyway, and then the Keely Ringo part of it, right? I want Keely Ringo to – I'm still high on Keely Ringo. I'm still very much high on Keely Ringo. So I don't know what – look, I don't know what this energy is. I don't know if some of you guys are nervous. I don't know if some of you guys – and again, not all, very few of you. I'm not sure if few of you lack the comprehension skills. But I'll make it very clear for the last time. I want Jordan Davis to be here for as long as possible. I want Nakobe Dean to be here for as long as possible. I want Keely Ringo to take over at that starting cornerback spot. This is what I want. I want these guys to fulfill their potential. I want Jordan Davis to play more snaps. I want Jordan Davis to be more of a pass rusher as well. I want Jordan Davis to keep doing what he does in the run defense. I'm looking forward to Nakobe Dean getting healthy, watching that position battle. There's so many things that I want and I'm looking forward to, and it's positive. But you know what? You can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. Some people just don't want to be shown the light. And that's okay. That's okay. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. You guys have been phenomenal. And this content doesn't work without the people. Some of you guys I can do without. Some of you guys I can do without. But overall, this content don't work without the people, man. You guys have been phenomenal. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. Rookie minicamp. Rookie minicamp is in full effect. And I think that's going to be going on May 2nd and May 3rd. May 2nd and May 3rd, rookie minicamp is in full effect, you guys. So make sure you stay locked in because we're going to have some things to talk about. We're going to have plenty of things to talk about, especially as it pertains to the draft class, the undrafted free agents, the rookie camp invites. We got a lot to discuss here. So let's get right to it. Now, with the rookie minicamp invites or with the rookie minicamp, sometimes vets come in, show love to the rooks, but pretty much that gives the Eagles and those players an opportunity to get familiar with each other. It gives those players an opportunity to get familiar with the playbook. It gives all those guys an opportunity to just show what they have as far as drills, conditioning, strength, health, whatever it may be, right? Now, leading into or going into rookie minicamp, a lot of these guys have signed their rookie contracts. On Friday, today, the Eagles, they signed Kyle McCord to his rookie deal. They've also signed draft picks Miles Hinton, Antoine Paul-Ryland, and Smile Mondon. So the Eagles have 4 of their 10 rookies signed so far. They have 4 of their 10 rookies signed. Give me 1 second and bring this on screen for you guys. Kyle McCord has signed his deal. Quarterback out of Syracuse. Offensive tackle Miles Hinton. Miles Hinton went to Michigan. Antoine Paul-Ryland, the edge rusher, signed his deal out of Virginia Tech. and Smile Robinson, or Smile Mondon, excuse me. Smile Mondon, the linebacker out of Georgia, signed his contract. So that's four out of 10 guys. 4 out of 10 guys that signed their rookie deals. That leaves Jahai Campbell, Andrew Makuba, Matt McWilliams, Drew Kendall, Cameron Williams. Those guys got to sign their deals. But fully expect those to get done. Fully expect those to get done. Also, team numbers have been revealed here, or at least the rookie minicamp numbers are in. These numbers could change. These numbers could change, you guys. But Jahai Campbell, as of today, he has the number 30, and Makuba has the number 24. Number 24, that's James Bradbury's old number. I'm trying to remember who had the number 30. Ty Robinson has number 95. Matt McWilliams has number 22. Smile Mondon has number 42. Drew Kendall has number 66. Kyle McCord has number 19, the quarterback. Miles Hinton, the tackle, has number 78. Cameron Williams has number 73. And Antoine Powell Ryland has number 93, which is Milton Williams' old number. Do y'all remember who had number 30 back in the day? Or for the Eagles? I can't remember. Who had number 30? I can't remember. I know Quinyon Mitchell had number 30 at one point, but he changed it. Quinyon had number 30 all summer, and then the season came and it was 27. All right, so for the Eagles, you had Perry Nickerson in 2024, Justin Evans, Jacoby Stevens, Corey Clement. Okay, so the most prominent guy that I can think of in the past is Corey Clement. Corey Clement has worn number 30. Brian Mitchell wore number 30 in the year 2000 for 2 seasons or 3 seasons. But yeah, no one as of late or no one prominent has worn number 30. So there we go. Let's see what else they got. So yeah, Jahai Campbell, number 30, Andrew Makuba, number 24, Ty Robinson, number 95, Matt McWilliams, number 22, Smile Mondon, number 42, Drew Kendall, number 66, Kyle McCord, number 19, Miles Hinton, number 78, Cameron Williams, number 73, and Antoine Powell Ryland, number 93. Now, again, like I said, these numbers can change. They can definitely change. Because once, you know what, you're right. That's blunt, you're right. He did. He actually changed it, Jahai Campbell, right? Jahai Campbell, he did wear number 30 in Alabama before last year. Then he changed it to number 11. I'm not sure what that was about, by the way. I'm not sure why he did that. But nonetheless, keep in mind, these numbers can change, mainly because once final cuts happen, guys may change their number. So don't buy your jerseys yet. Don't buy your jerseys yet. because those numbers can change after final cuts. All right, let's move on here. So, yeah, since rookie minicamp is here, now we're going to see the Eagles are going to be able to look at guys that maybe they didn't draft, but guys who are trying to make this roster, right? So, and make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the show, my name is Tone DeShields II. You guys are tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. This is your Philadelphia Eagles news source. So, minicamp is going to be going on from May 2nd to May 3rd. The position battles will be in full swing. And on top of that, the minicamp invitees, they have a chance to earn a contract for OTAs, training camp, and the preseason, right? A lot of these guys have an uphill battle. Some guys in particular that I'm looking at that has an uphill battle, personally, I'm looking at some of these wide receivers the Eagles brought in as undrafted free agents and in rookie minicamp. Taylor Morin out of Wake Forest, Darius Cooper out of Tarleton State. It's an uphill battle for guys like that as undrafted free agents. Ife Adeye. How do I not say his name? Ife out of Sam Houston State. Nasir Morgan Sr. out of Delaware Valley. Hell, even Malik Carr, the tight end out of Houston. Now, Ife, Nasir Morgan Sr., and Malik Carr were rookie minicamp invites. But I think it's an uphill battle because that wide receiver room, I mean, obviously you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you got Jahan Dotson. After that, it's like, you know, hey, you know what I think, as a matter of fact? You know what I think? Now that I think about it, Aeneas Smith. Who else? What's my man? Johnny Wilson. Pressure's on them. Now that I think about it. Now that I really think about it, forget the uphill battle for the rookies. Forget that. I'm looking at Johnny Wilson, and I'm looking at Aeneas Smith, who has done nothing to separate themselves. The one thing I will say, though, Johnny Wilson can block his ass off. Johnny Wilson can block his ass off. I will say that. But other than that, though, yo, you got these other guys that's coming in, and they want that spot. And my man S. Blunt says Johnny is an elite blocker, right? Now, let's just say, let's just say, and Terrace Marshall. I forgot about Terrace Marshall Jr. Forgot about him. But let's just say this, right? Let's just say one of these new guys that's coming in, right? Let's just say, what's his name that I was talking about? Nasir Morgan, Sr. Let's say he can block just as well as Johnny Wilson. Maybe better. Let's just say any of these guys can block as good as Johnny Wilson, but they catch that ball better. Then what? Then what? Then what? Because Johnny Wilson, as a receiver, he's a wide receiver, meaning he has to catch the ball at some point. If he can't elevate those skills as a pass catcher, yo, come on, man. Come on. Dink Bergang says Johnny Wilson is still a project, but guess what? Johnny Wilson was drafted when? When was Johnny Wilson drafted? Johnny Wilson is a 6th round pick. How much patience do you have for a wide receiver who was a 6th round pick? I understand he's a project. But as a wide receiver, the one thing that you should be able to do is catch the fucking football. It's one thing to say, hey, the route running has to get a little better. The one thing that should not be a project is your fucking hands. My man S. Blunt says the key, though, is being an elite wide receiver blocker. WR4 in our offense does not get the ball. They block. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm not just talking about the now. I'm talking about projection as well. Because we don't know what the future holds after a while. Like all I'm trying to say is Johnny Wilson. This ain't just about your future with the Eagles. This is about your NFL future. This is about your NFL future. Because let's just say the Eagles move on from Johnny Wilson, right? If Johnny Wilson goes to the open market, a team may not be as patient with him. They may not be as patient. So all I'm trying to say is, if he wants to have a longer NFL future, he got to catch that ball. I'm not just talking about the Eagles offense. I'm talking about his NFL future. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, he got to catch that football. What my man, hold on, my man Alex said, Johnny be dropping 5-yard passes. Yeah, it's inconsistent. Dink Bergang says Johnny Wilson would be an MVP candidate for the UFL. Look, I want Johnny Wilson to do well, but they brought in 4. Make sure I got this right here. They brought in 4 new receivers to look at. They brought in 4 of them. And I'm looking at the depth chart right now at the wide receiver spot, excluding the top 3 guys in A.J. Brown, Devontae, and Jahan Dotson. You got Johnny Wilson, Terrace Marshall Jr., Aniyah Smith, Danny Gray, Elijah Cooks, Taylor Morin. And you also got some guys they didn't put on here yet. You got Darius Cooper. You got Ife Adiye. You got Nasir Morgan Sr. Johnny Wilson is going to be competing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's competing with 8 receivers. 8. If you want to include himself, 9 receivers. Aniyah Smith, he did nothing to separate himself, and he's small. I mean, he has return capabilities. He has return man capabilities, but other than that, I just think that, the competition is quite literally in full effect. If I'm Johnny Wilson, if I'm Aniyah Smith, if I'm Terrace Marshall Jr., it go for him too. It go for Terrace Marshall as well. If I'm those guys, I'm going to rookie minicamp. I want these guys to know I'm serious. And that's all this conversation we're having that's all it's really about. It's about understanding that the competition is here. The competition is here. The position battles are in full effect. Let's keep it going, right? Let's keep it going. The running back room. The running backs. Montrell Johnson, Out of Florida, an undrafted free agent. Shunderick Powell. Running back out of Central Arkansas, an undrafted free agent. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is our guy. We know that. We know Saquon Barkley is our guy. We know that. But will A.J. Dillon make the roster? Like, will A.J. Dillon be able to be healthy? Remember, he had that neck stinger. A.J. Dillon had that crazy neck stinger last year. So we're looking at A.J. Dillon like, okay, we know you have talent, but can you stay healthy? That's the thing about A.J. Dillon. I think A.J. Dillon makes the roster if he's healthy. Excuse me. I think A.J. Dillon makes this roster if he's healthy. So let's make that clear. Will Shipley. I like Will Shipley a lot. I think Will Shipley showed you a lot of great things. So now you also have Avery Williams on his roster. Tyrion Davis-Price comes back. Lou Nichols comes back. You also brought in Shunderick Powell and Montrell Johnson Jr. Now, although Will Shipley has shown us a lot that we like, Will Shipley, don't get too comfortable. I think we all can reasonably agree with that. Don't get too comfortable. I like Will Shipley, though. And A.J. Dillon, you know, he took a whole year off. He has to show that he still got it. He took a whole year off. He had a neck stinger. So there's a couple things that A.J. Dillon has to get back in form. And I think that's why A.J. Dillon showed up. And I like A.J. Dillon, by the way. I like him as the backup to Saquon. I like the combination of Saquon, A.J. Dillon, and Will Shipley. I do. But there are variables surrounding A.J. Dillon, like the neck injury they had last year. You feel me? That's something we got to look at. And hopefully he makes it through training camp. That's a real possibility. Will Shipley, hey, them young guys looking at you like they want your spot. Tyrion Davis-Price, Lou Nichols, Shunderick Powell, Montrell Johnson Jr., Avery Williams. And here's the thing, right? Will Shipley has shown value in the passing game. He can run. You know, like, maybe the running back room isn't as complicated, but I still believe Will Shipley should still be on his P's and Q's. That's what I think. I still think Will Shipley should be on his P's and Q's. Is that reasonable to surmise or assume? Brandon Howard, he says A.J. Dillon behind our O-line, where it's like 3 yards before contact, going to let him get momentum and crash into defenders, bro. He's going to wear down defenses. Total battling ram. I like that. As Blunt says, Powell was a legit receiving threat, and Montrell's explosive. See what I'm saying? Will Shipley better watch his cookies. You got guys that they brought in. That can do some of the things you can do. Kibo says Shipley's good on special teams, so he might have an edge for that running back 3. Ooh, good point, Kibo. Good point, Kibo. Kibo's right. Kibo's very right. See, here's the thing. It's not just about being running back, right? These guys have to show that they have value on special teams as well. So, Kibo, you bring up a very good point. That's a very good point, Kibo, because Will Shipley made some plays in special teams all year long. I think he forced a fumble. Didn't he force a fumble on the kickoff against the Commanders in the NFC Championship? Yeah. It was right before halftime. Will Shipley forced the turnover in the playoffs. So that may be where he has an edge. That may be where he has the edge. He has the full year of experience. He understands the offense. He understands the coaches. He does have an edge. Let's not get it twisted. He does have an edge. Brandon Howard says, yeah, Shipley the one who's in danger, but I don't think he gets beat out. Running back competition is for practice squad spot. Good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. Deng Bergang says, our special teams is underrated. A lot of these late draft picks will make their name there. I agree. I think Smile Mondan is going to be a beast on special teams. Somebody said in the comment section, yeah, Smile Mondan, he may end up being a starter. I'm like, are you high? Are you high? And I like Smile Mondan. But with all due respect, I have a hard time believing Smile Mondan wins a starting role in year one. I have a hard time believing that. I do. Now, there are some things that work in his favor. Here are those things. The Nakobe Dean injury, Jahai Campbell recovering from the injury, or the surgery, excuse me, Jahai Campbell recovering from surgery. That leaves Baun, Trotter, and well, let's not count Benjamin Sumer. We know what that is. So if we anticipate Jahai Campbell and Nakobe Dean being out to start the season, which they will, I believe. Now, we look at it from this perspective. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. versus Smile Mondan for that starting linebacker spot next to Zack Baun, at least for the next few weeks. Maybe that's the path. Maybe that's the path. And everything I read about Smile Mondan is that they love his talent. They love the measurables. They love how physical he is. They love that. But they believe that his instincts could be sharper. They say sometimes his football IQ has a hard time catching up to what he can do physically with his body. They feel like his talent and his athleticism is ahead when it comes to the development of his football IQ. That's not saying he's not a smart player. What I've read, I'm not saying this is a fact, but what I've read is that Smile Mondan's talent is a little bit further ahead than his football IQ. But Vic Fangio, Joe Casper and Jeremiah Washburn, they may be able to get that. They may be able to close the gap on that. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a very smart player. He's a very good player. This may be an opportunity for Trotter Jr. So maybe, maybe I shouldn't rule out. Maybe I shouldn't rule out Mondan. But I just have a hard time believing he jumps Trotter Jr. I have a hard time believing that. But training camp, it all remains to be seen. Trenton Wright says we had so many key contributors last year from backups and rotation guys. We did. Oren Burks coming in the playoffs. That was remarkable to see. And on the side note, Oren Burks doing what he did next to Zack Baun, it kind of hurts the leverage of Nakobe Dean. All right, Green Weeman with the super chat. Thank you, my man. He says, do you sense the Eagles extending Davis was their way for rewarding him the rest of his rookie contract before moving on from him in 2 years? That's a good question. That's a good question. I do believe they picked up the 5th-year option because they felt like A, he earned it, and B, they want to continue to monitor his development and have him cost controlled. Now that they picked it up, now that they picked up the option, it's important for me to think about the reasons why they did it. And those reasons why could be they loved what they saw from him in the playoffs, and they feel like he's getting better. They want to continue to evaluate and observe the player. They want to reward him as well. It buys them more time to figure out what they're going to do with him. And it keeps him cost controlled for the next 2 seasons. But I don't know what they're going to do, Greeny, when it comes to Jordan Davis' rookie contract. I don't know what they're going to do. I need to see. I'll put it this way. Depending on what he does this season, is going to tell me a lot. And I'll be able to make my prediction at that point. Excuse me. Depending on what Jordan Davis does in the 2025 season will help me determine what I believe is going to happen. Thank you for the super chat, Greeny. Dick Bergang says, my Eagles great again. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the love. Jack Dwight with the super chat. Thank you, Dwight. I appreciate it. He says, what do you think of the tight end Malik Carr, and why haven't we signed him? If Lewis is Lewis Singh finally healthy? Oh, if Singh is finally healthy, could he be in play? Okay, so as far as Malik Carr was invited to rookie minicamp, right? Rookie minicamp is going on as we speak. Rookie minicamp is going on as we speak. Those guys are getting work in. They're doing drills. They're getting familiar with the coaches, getting familiar with the playbook. You feel me? These guys are taking a lot of time to show why they deserve to be brought in for OTAs, rookie mandatory minicamp, training camp, things like that. So, well, everything I've heard about Malik Carr is that he's a talented dude. Malik Carr is 6'6", 265. Ran a 4.63, which is pretty impressive at that size. Malik Carr is a big dude. Now, his stats at Houston aren't really that impressive. He didn't really get a ton of burn at Houston. He started out at Purdue, then Michigan State, then spent his last year in Houston. He didn't get a ton of burn. He was considered to be the 22nd best tight end in the draft. But his measurables are pretty crazy. 6'6", 265, ran a 4.63 40-yard dash. So I don't have a strong opinion on him. Either way. I don't have a strong opinion on Malik Carr either way. I know he has some speed for that size. I'm looking at NFL Draft Buzz right now. It says here he has a 76% grade for his hands, a 72% short receiving grade, a 77% intermediate grade, a 63% deep threat grade and a 57% blocking grade. And also, the quarterback's passer rating when targeting him is a 77.8. So that's not good. That's not that good. He's not really sure-handed. He's not really sure-handed. That's the truth. So, I mean, it's a reason he didn't get drafted. It's a reason why he didn't get signed as an undrafted free agent. The Eagles brought him in to evaluate him. They invited him to rookie minicamp. But I would still take my chances with E.J. Jenkins over him. Just saying. Remo K, he says, remember Cooper DeJean didn't start the year last year either and missed a bunch of time, and that turned out well in case Campbell doesn't start the year. Yeah, that's a good point. And that's the thing, right? The Eagles are in a position where they don't need to start Campbell right away. To your point, Remo. The Eagles are so talented. They're so talented that they can survive. They're so talented that they can survive and handle that situation. They're that talented. The Eagles don't have to rush. They don't have to rush to get Campbell in that football field. And I love that Cooper DeJean comparison. I love that comparison. Because that gives him time to watch, see how the game flows, the speed, get back in routine. I like that comp, Remo. James says, loving the depth and the competition that the Eagles brought in with this draft. Yeah, they drafted 10 players. They drafted 10 players, and they brought in 9 undrafted free agents. They drafted 10 guys and signed 9 undrafted free agents. If I got that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9. 9. This is a big draft class. It would be fun to see who emerges. Trent, and I agree 100%. Trent, and I agree 100%. Because rookie minicamp, you're going to see guys try to separate themselves. Jeff Stoutland is going to be looking at these offensive linemen. The offensive line conversations is going to be phenomenal. I absolutely love what the Eagles are doing offensive line-wise. Because here's the thing. Because Jeff Stoutland is such a master at what he does, and he has such a proven track record of developing offensive linemen, he doesn't have, or the Eagles don't have to draft offensive linemen, A, high in the draft. B, they don't necessarily have to draft finished products. They can draft for traits, they can draft for value, and then they can develop those guys and work out the kinks of their game. Like, I want to look at some of the draft profiles for some of these guys here. Like Drew Kendall. Drew Kendall out of Boston College. He played center in college, but he also has guard capabilities. So I have him listed as an interior offensive lineman. He's somebody that brings value immediately. He already has the foundation to be cross-trained. And Drew Kendall, he's 23 years old. He was invited to the Shrine Bowl. He's a guy that's very quick on his feet. He's 6'4", 308, but ran a 5.05 40-yard dash with the 1.79 10-yard split, and he had a 4.51 shuttle time. That his feet are quick. He had a 7.56 3-cone drill. Quick feet. He is very light on his feet. And on top of that, it says here, Drew Kendall carries football royalty in his blood. He's the son of 13-year NFL veteran Pete Kendall. Followed his father's footsteps to Boston College, where the elder Kendall earned All-American honors before becoming a first-round selection in 1996. He comes from football royalty. Pete Kendall was 6'5", 292, first-round pick, was an interior offensive lineman, played 13 years in the NFL, 5 years in Seattle, 3 years with the New York Jets, 3 years in Arizona, and 2 years in Washington. This is a guy who's made good money in the NFL. His father's been in the league for a long time. Drew Kendall's dad, Pete Kendall. In my opinion, if you're an offensive lineman that plays 10 plus years in the league, you were good. You were solid. They trusted you. You knew your role. You knew the playbook. You were a good veteran. You were always prepared. Took care of your body. You did your job when called upon. You were able to hold your water. 13 years in the league is nothing to sneeze at. Drew Kendall comes from a strong foundation. And he's playing the position his dad played. So Drew Kendall is going to know how to approach being a pro because of his dad. His dad been through it, 13 years in the league, played for 4 teams, and spent good time with those teams. Also, let's get the Drew Kendall's scouting report summary. It says the team that prioritizes outside zone concepts. This isn't a center who will dominate with raw power, but rather who wins with angles, technique, and spatial awareness. He's a technician. When he's operating in space, his fluid movement jumps off the screen. I watched him navigate traffic like a veteran, picking off linebackers with precision that mirrors his father's anticipatory style rather than merely reacting to what's in front of him. Zone blocking emphasizes his strengths while masking his limitations. The reality is he's not wired to bulldoze massive nose tackles off the line. His game is built on leverage, hand placement, and footwork fundamentals that have been ingrained since childhood. The difference between Kendall in space versus isolated against mass and tight quarters is night and day. He'll carve out a developmental role while adding necessary bulk to his frame, potentially growing into a reliable backup with spot starting capability. Don't underestimate the value of his football bloodlines. This center has been groomed for the NFL since elementary school, with a father who played 13 seasons in the league molding his approach. His recognition of fronts, blitzes, and stunts reflects his upbringing. While his physical limitations will likely prevent him from becoming a long-term starter, Kendall brings day 3 value as a technically sound depth piece who won't be overwhelmed mentally when called upon. That was written by Felix Green. He covers the ACC. So, Drew Kendall, he's a guy that you can trust. He's the guy that you're going to be able to trust. Alex with the super chat says, cut day is going to be interesting. They're for sure letting go some of these quality guys. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. But here's one thing I do know. Because of this coaching staff and because of what they've been able to prove, I trust that the best players will remain on the roster. And honestly, to your point, Alex, it's a good problem to have. And thank you for the super chat. So Drew Kendall, when it comes to the football IQ of it all, being a technician, knowing exactly where he's supposed to be, taking in the playbook, understanding different fronts, different blitzes, the scheme, the angles, being able to operate in space. If you pull him, he's going to know what to do. He's going to know what to do. And I would much rather have a guy that is technically sound and get him stronger. I can get him stronger. I could put more weight on him. We can hit the weight room. But some guys, their technique, their footwork could just be awful. Guys get lost in the junk. They get lost in the trash. But Drew Kendall, somebody who always understands where he's supposed to be. Somebody who always understands angles and leverage and technique and hand placement and footwork and pulling. Picking up those blitzes and multiple fronts. Yeah. He's somebody you look out for. And Drew Kendall, he was the 5th best according to NFL Draft Buzz. He's the 4th or the 5th best center in this draft class. But again, like I said, he has guard capabilities. Other offensive linemen I'm looking at, and again, we're going to talk about all these guys. Miles Hinton out of Michigan, Cameron Williams out of Texas, Holland Pierce out of Rutgers, right? We're gonna get those guys in a second. Let's get to Miles Hinton. Miles Hinton, 6'7", 323. 323, 6'7". Hold on, real quick though. The Eagles brought in some big boys, man. They brought in some big boys. Hold on. Miles Hinton, 6'7", 323. Holland Pierce, 6'8", like 340. Cameron Williams, 6'6", 317. They brought in some big boys, man. Like, for real. I think the Eagles, see, this is the Jordan Mailata effect. You know what I mean? Jordan Mailata being like 6'8", like 350. Like, it's like he's a freak. The way the Eagles build their offensive line is they want the biggest guys possible. And you know what they say after that? We'll teach you how to block. Don't worry about that. like, bro, to be able to convert Mekhi Becton, a 6'6", 6'7" tackle, to convert him into a fucking guard. Like, what? Who has that on their resume? Who has that on their resume? Every time we think we got Jeff Stoutland figured out, he always ups the score. He turned Jordan Mailata, a 6'8" rugby player, into a fucking behemoth. He turned Mekhi Becton, the 6'7", 360-pound tackle, into a dominant guard. And then we draft a 6'7", 323-pound tackle in Miles Hinton. We draft a 6'6", 317-pound tackle in Cameron Williams. And then you got Holland Pierce, who's 6'8", like 340. The smallest guy we drafted is what? Drew Kendall? He's 6'4", 308. Bruh. This is why. See, Howie Roseman is a very smart individual. I don't know how much you guys have thought about this. Maybe you have, but let's talk about it real quick before I get into Miles Hinton's draft profile. And again, all these guys are going to be in rookie minicamp. Jeff Stoutland is going to have a field day. at rookie minicamp with all these guys. A field day. And we still got Trevor Keegan on this roster. Hold on real quick, you guys. Before I get into this nuance that I want to discuss, let me just read you all the names in the offensive line room. Let me just read these names to you guys. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Lane Johnson. Those are your starters right now. Those are your starters. As far as backups, that's draft picks, that's free agents that we signed, that's undrafted guys, that's draft picks. You got Miles Hinton, Holland Pierce, Laken Vakalahi, Kenyon Green, Darian Kennard, Drew Kendall, Brett Toth, Trevor Keegan, Matt Pryor, Kendall Lamb, Cameron Williams. All these guys are not making the roster. All these guys are not making the roster, yo. Now, Trevor Keegan is someone the Eagles like. He has swing guard capabilities. But I'm looking at you got veterans in Kendall Lamb and Matt Pryor and Brett Toth. But then you got projects like Laken Vakalahi, Darian Kennard, Holland Pierce. You got some dudes. You got some dudes, bruh. But back to my point. You know what the Eagles did, right? If you just look at the way if you just look at the way the Eagles designed their offensive line, the way they play football, how they won the Super Bowl, and how they got to that point. Let me ask you guys the question. Let me see if you guys are going where I'm going with this. Besides being talented in the trenches, in that running back, who can tell me why the Eagles' style of play was so dominant in 2024? Who can give me a reason why? And again, we know they're talented. We know they got Saquon. We know they got Jeff Stoutland. Why was the Eagles' style of play so unstoppable in 2024? Dank Bird Gang says size. You're right there. Dank Bird Gang, you're right there. The Big Ten Ripper says physicality. You're right there. S. Blunt says Jalen Hurts. Of course, Jalen. But I'm talking about, yes, Jalen Hurts, of course, yes. Let me not, of course. But I'm more so talking about just the nature of the game and how it's played. The nature of the game. How teams are building their rosters. So Dank says size. Big Ten says physicality. Green Wingman says big motherfuckers. KGK says physicality. S. Blunt says having Jalen Hurts as the +1 quarterback. I think all of you guys are hitting it on are literally hitting the nail, right? But let me be the final hammer on that. One of the reasons, bingo. That's what I wanted to see. All of you guys had one half of the coin. You know? Dank Bird Gang had one half of the coin. Size. Big Ten had one half of the coin. Physicality. Green Wingmen had one half of the coin. Big dudes. S. Blunt had one half of the coin. Jalen Hurts being +1 in the run game and having massive men. You guys had one half of the coin. The other half of the coin is the little guys. Sweet Chin Music got both sides of the coin. Big guys beat up on little guys. And because of the way the game has been played, or because of where the game has transitioned to, with the league being very pass heavy, meaning you got to have linebackers who can cover. You got to have linebackers who can be agile and fast. That means linebackers are getting smaller. That means linebackers are getting smaller. They're prioritizing athleticism and speed over size and strength and power. So what the Eagles were able to do, they said, okay, we're in a passing league right now, but we are a power team. You got A.J. Brown out there, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position. You got Saquon Barkley at running back. You got this big offensive line. Okay, everybody's zigging. Let's zag. Defenses are getting smaller. Defenses have gotten smaller. S. Blunt, you're right on point. Defenses are light in the box these days. These linebackers are like 225. AJ is like 220, 227. Like, for real. Let me see this real quick. AJ Brown, I think he's like 221. AJ Brown is 226. AJ Brown is bigger than some of these linebackers. AJ Brown is 6'1", 226. So what you think our offensive linemen are going to do to that? James said we had a similar line like last year, like the year before. Barkley added behind it was a huge difference. Of course. Definitely. But you know, it's important to just realize that the Eagles have always had a top-tier running game, especially during the Nick Sirianni era. These defenses are getting smaller. And the Eagles literally bullied their way to the Super Bowl. They bullied their way to the Super Bowl. That's because of Jalen Hurts. That's because of Saquon Barkley. That's because of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, but even more in Dallas Goedert. But even more so, it's because that offensive line. That offensive line. And bringing it full circle like S. Blunt is doing right now. He says, hence why we kept Jordan Davis. And need I remind you guys, the Eagles picked up Jordan Davis' fifth-year option. So he's under contract for 2025. You guys got me? Had a little bit of an internet hiccup there. You guys got me? I want to make sure you guys got me. Testing. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Thank you. Had a little bit of a glitch there. All right. So, but yeah, Jordan Davis, full circle conversation. Full circle. Because linebackers are getting smaller, it is important to have somebody that size on the interior. It is important to have somebody that size, like Jordan Davis. He has value. He has the value. I'm curious what those contract negotiations are going to look like. That's all. That's all I'm ever trying to say about Jordan Davis. I want him here. I see his value. And I feel like I have to keep reiterating that because people think I don't like that man. People think that I don't want him on his team. People think that I don't understand his value. People think I'm always trying down him or diss him. When all I ever want is for the player to take his game to another level. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. Jordan Davis makes it very easy for the Eagles linebackers to do their jobs. All right, let me get to the Miles Hinton. Miles Hinton, 6'7", 323. Says here, it says Miles Hinton, as far as his weaknesses, it says he'll have trouble with elite quickness at the next level. He can be a tick slow at the snap when asked to pass protect, and at times Hinton looks hesitant when facing stunts and twists. Hinton often plays too high, allowing speed to power rushers to knock him back and off balance. Hinton needs to get much better with his hand use. So he has some things to work on. But you can't teach size. You can't. You can't teach size, man. You can't teach it, though. He has tools. He has tools you like. He's effective in the pull game. He's shown agility and speed and overall range to get out as a lead blocker. He's very good in he's very good in the run game. Very good in the run game. And his brother, Christopher Hinton, is a D tackle for the Chargers. Is an undrafted guy. He didn't play in 2024, though, which is interesting. Probably had an injury or something. And their dad is Chris Hinton. Their dad, Chris Hinton, was the offensive lineman as well. He played guard and tackle. His dad, Chris Hinton, had a 13-year career in the NFL. Okay, the Eagles are on to something here. That's two offensive linemen they drafted. Drew Kendall and Miles Hinton. They come from football families. Drew Kendall, his dad, was a 13-year pro on the interior. Miles Hinton, his dad, Chris Hinton, is a 7-time Pro Bowl and 1-time All-Pro offensive lineman. Played 7 years in Indianapolis, 4 years in Atlanta, 2 years in Minnesota, 1 year in Baltimore. So that's two guys you drafted that come from good football stock at offensive line. I like that, man. Chris Hinton, Miles Hinton's father, is a former first-round pick by the Denver Broncos in the 1983 draft. He ended up having a career with Baltimore, Indianapolis, Atlanta, and Minnesota. Seven-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. It's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. We also got Cameron Williams. Cameron Williams, 6'6", 317. 21 years old. They see him as a right tackle. It says here, the tape doesn't lie. Cameron Williams is a dancing bear with rare physical gifts who needs an offense built to maximize his strengths early in his career. Watch him against Georgia's edge rushers in the SEC championship game, and you'll see both the mouth-watering potential and the technical wrinkles that need ironing out. His ability to shut down power rushers and handle stunts in that game jumped off the screen. But those few losses to speed around the edge exposed the footwork issues that could plague him against NFL athletes. Put him in a quick game passing attack with heavy play action concepts, and Williams becomes an immediate problem for defensive coordinators. His massive frame and vice grip hands shine when he can set vertically and play in the phone booth. The Michigan game particularly highlighted this. Watching him ragdoll defenders on quick passes and play action concepts had me rewinding the tape multiple times, but asking him to consistently hold up 7-step drops against wide 9 techniques is setting him up to fail as a rookie. I'm convinced Williams has legitimate starting right tackle potential in a scheme that plays to his strengths. The improvement in his pass sets from September to December was remarkable. You can see the game slowing down for him with each start. A power-based offense that can give him occasional chip help against elite speed while letting him maul in the run game would unlock his ceiling as a force on the right side. The technical foundation is there. Now it's about building on it. So you brought guys in who are powerful, they're technicians, but they got little wrinkles to their game you got to iron out. And that's okay. That's okay. You brought in a ton of size. You brought in a ton of potential. You brought in you brought in guys with a ton to work with here. And last but not least, the fan favorite, Holland Pierce. Holland Pierce, 6'8", 341. This dude is a freak. 6'8", 341. Says here, the massive frame and raw power profile suggest immediate utility as a swing tackle with development upside. Natural ankle strength and length provide tools to contribute in pass protection, while the mauler mentality translates well to gap power run schemes. However, athletic limitations and technical refinement needs indicate a longer runway to starting caliber play. Scheme-specific deployment will be crucial early, as zone-heavy systems will expose lateral mobility constraints. Best early fit comes in gap power run schemes where double team effectiveness and down blocking power can be maximized while pass protection technique develops. Pure speed rushers and complex pressure packages present significant challenges that must be addressed through technical development. Natural power and length provide foundations for growth, but mechanical inconsistencies and athletic limitations create clear ceiling. Ideal fit comes with power running teams featuring veteran offensive line rooms and established developmental track record. He's in the right place. He's in the right place. He's in the right place, man. Overall, I really love what the Eagles have done on the offensive line. I love that they brought in a ton of guys that has a ton of clay to mold. I really, really do. This offensive line room is loaded. It's ripping at the seams with talent. Rookie minicamp is in full effect, and I'm just really excited to see these position battles occur. I'm really excited to see who stands out, who's able to make a name for themselves. I'm excited to see which one of these rookie minicamp invitees get a contract for training camp and so on and so forth. You know, there's so many guys to really get into, and we're going to continue to do so. But that's our show for today, you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of you guys showing love to the channel. All of you who watch the show on your own time, make sure you guys tune in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well, and double back on the YouTube channel. Go check out the clips. Go check out the shorts. Go check out the previous streams. You guys know we give content damn near every day on this channel. We're either live or we're dropping clips every day. Every day we're giving you guys something to watch, something to lock in on. My goal is to make sure that this is your Philadelphia Eagles news source. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, just keep everything respectful. Keep everything respectful. You know what I mean? I feel like we've cultivated an ecosystem where guys can, you know, speak their piece respectfully. You know what I mean? So let's keep it that way. And by the way, you guys, I'm going to be live later on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's 6 p.m. Central time, 5 p.m. Mountain time, and 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be live with my man, Coach Marcus from Pro Fan Talk. We're going to be live. We're going to be live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Central, okay? Make sure you guys lock in, and I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate all the donations. You guys are awesome, and I'm really grateful for all my members, man. You guys have been fantastic as well. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. And this is your Philadelphia Eagles news source.